Right. I usually try to, except for Jason's, I usually try to clip the first few seconds to get
Oh,
prepared.
okay.
First off, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have gotten some complaints, not only from my wife, but other female viewers, that there hasn't been any females on here. And I said, well, yeah, because this is an Army show, which 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 got me promptly slapped. But for those that don't know, females do join the Army National Guard, and um, although this will be the youngest guest I've had on Tales of the Old Guard, you're not old by any stretch of the
No.
means.
Yeah, no, I'm not that old.
Where were you born?
I was born in Minnesota, so kind of spent some time out there for a while. I moved out to Washington when I was 12. So my dad was in the military, so we moved around a little bit. But ultimately, one of his military buddies offered him a job out here. And so we moved out here. And
Had he ever been stationed like at Fort Lewis or anything?
nope,
No.
nope. So he was only in when I was really young, so we didn't really move around too much at that point because of him being in. He wasn't in for very long, but yeah, eventually we just like moved out here and never left.
Now, uh, were you a girly girl or were you a tomboy? What kind of
I think I was a good mix of both. I
good mix of
mean,
both?
like I have I have a sister that's 2 years younger than me. Her and I would go and hang from trees with our dresses, and so I mean, yeah, you could dress us up, but we're still climbing trees.
How did so you did have some family history in it, but what was, I mean, what encouraged you to join the Army National Guard?
So my grandpa, he served in the Navy, and when he passed, so I was about 9 years old when he passed. Um, my dad was given his flag because my dad was the only one who served out of his 6 siblings. So for me, my dad always told me Grandpa's flag will get passed to whoever serves. Uh, if no one serves, it'll die with me. Um, so for me, that was kind of like, okay, that like that's kind of a motivator. I always looked up to my dad. So and but I didn't go Navy because I don't want to be stuck on a boat in the middle of the ocean. So I went Army. Um, so for me, it was a big thing. Like my dad, it was my like driving factor for it, but also the education benefits that come along. Like I knew my parents weren't paying for my college, and I was gonna have to figure that out. So that was my way to kind of figure that out. So my dad actually had to sign paperwork to allow me in because I enlisted when I was 17.
Did you do the split option, or did you go to basic for over like your summer vacation and then before your senior year?
So
Or
I was a senior in high school when I enlisted.
okay,
So uh, it was October of my senior year. So I finished out my senior year till June, and then I was supposed to go to basic training in June, but my dad had passed, so I got an extension until October is when the following year is when I finally went to basic training.
how'd your dad feel about you going into the military?
He was excited about it, but I wanted to go active duty, and the only way he would sign paperwork is if I went guard. So
Wow.
that's kind of like I didn't really necessarily choose guard. My dad
Okay.
did for me.
Wow.
So he said if I did it for a little bit and truly wanted to go active duty, then I could go. But the only way he was signing my papers is if I went guard first.
Wow.
Because I
I
wanted to enlist now and I like wanted to go.
that that is that's outstanding. I mean, especially for a dad to be looking out for his daughter in that sense.
Yeah,
Sorry about his passing.
yeah.
How big of a influence was he on your life and life choices?
I mean, Like, I was super close with my dad. So for me, that was like really rough to lose him. And then I have to go to basic training, like not too far after, where I have nobody and can't contact anyone. Um, but I ended up actually having like a super cool drill sergeant, and when I had told her like what was going on with me, because one day she found me crying, and she's like, "What is going on with you?" It was like the only female drill sergeant we had. Um, and I explained to her what happened, and so she would let me have my phone once a week to call home.
Wow. Wow.
So that was like a really cool experience that I had that no one else would, because as long as I didn't tell anybody, she was going to let me do it. So she would come and get me at the same time every week, and then she'd let me call home from like a supply closet. I'd
Wow.
get like 15 minutes. Yeah.
Wow. I don't. I, as old ones, we always talk about how because a lot of people couldn't afford cell phones when I was going through,
Mhm.
and I just remember that one phone call that they let you dial with the scripted,
Yep.
hey, this is where I'm at, love you, bye, and
Okay.
the drill sergeant hangs up the phone on
Oh
you
wow.
while you're, once your 2-minute window is done,
Uh huh.
they're timing it, and then they hang up the phone on you.
Okay.
So it's that that's amazing that you had a drill sergeant that was willing to help get you through that piece to get you
Yeah.
through your training.
Yeah, because I think as a total, like we only accessed our phones 3 times, like as a whole unit. So, but they like in secret let me call home once a week because of what was going on.
Wow. Now, you chose. We had the same MOS. It was 77 Fox when I came in. They changed it to 92 Fox.
Yeah.
Fuel petroleum specialist. Why?
Yeah,
And what?
I definitely didn't choose that because I wanted to fuel, because I had a very high ASVAB score. So, like, I could have went into like hazmat and done like defusing bombs, and like I had pretty much any option, right? But do I wanted to be one of the guys like the mechanics working on the helicopters, but I did not test high in mechanics. So that like I just wasn't eligible for that job. And so like that the one thing I actually wanted to do, like my ASVAB just like wasn't there. And so they were offering a sign-on bonus for fuelers,
that, that
and
that got a lot
my
of us. That got a lot of us.
but my recruiter could guarantee that I was being put into an aviation unit.
I was gonna
And
ask because I didn't even know about Army aviation until after the fact. I thought that was only an active duty thing. Didn't know
yeah,
that the guard had aviation. So you had a recruiter that actually got you into it.
well, because my dad was there with me at the time when we're going through all of this. And so basically, he explained to me that like then you can kind of start making connections with people there, and then you could always like reclassify into that MOS. So just get your foot in the door, make connections, and then you can go down that route. And like my recruiter told me later on, he was like, "Your dad actually scared me, so I was trying to make sure I didn't had everything together for you."
That's awesome.
Oh,
That is awesome.
because I worked with my recruiter closely, like so that year between enlisting and then going to basic training, I was constant. Like we still had guard weekends once a month. It was just through, like,
RRB.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I could get out of that if I went and did stuff with my recruiter. So a lot of times I was going to do stuff with my recruiter because during that period I actually got a concussion that we just like didn't let anyone know about. So my recruiter just kept pulling me from the RRB so that way I wasn't making my concussion worse. And he's like, "Hey, I need
we
her."
we won't say his name on there, but yeah, good job.
So yeah.
So you're not with the unit very long. I remember you coming in,
Hmm.
and it's just a matter of time before we have our first state emergency on your time in the
Yeah, so
fires.
I hit the unit out of So I went to AIT. Here, we'll bring it back. So I went to basic training in Fort Leonard Wood.
Oh, you went Leonard Wood.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was actually training with the 12 Bravos, so the combat engineers. We were one of the first waves of women to go through that specific unit during basic training. So they do it's because 12 Bravos, they stay in the same place, basic training and their AIT.
The OSET training. Yeah.
So this was like one of the first rounds that they did where like you have a bunch of people there with you that then leave, but the rest of the people stay. And so they're like also trying to train the combat engineers their stuff, but we're getting trained it as well because we're a part of their platoon. So it was really I we only had 8 females total in the entire company that I was with. That's it. Like I had 2 other women in my platoon and that was it. And then they put me in charge of my whole platoon as a platoon guide. Trying to tell a 17-year-old girl telling a bunch of men what to do. Didn't go over well at first, but
Those drill sergeants like to create chaos.
yeah.
That's,
I mean, but I actually had a great platoon sergeant. I actually ran into him on our deployment and had lunch with him at the chow hall.
that's
Yeah,
so the guard world is a small,
it
well,
is.
military world is a small world. You may run into people 10, 15 years later in another country, another deployment.
Mm-hmm.
It is a small family.
Yeah, that female drill sergeant, I ran into her on Fort Lewis. Mm-hmm.
What what did she say? How did she?
Like she actually remembered me, and like we just chatted for a little while. But it was so she told me on the day of my graduation that the only reason why she came was to watch me graduate. So like I made it like I don't know what it was, but like the drill sergeants that I had, we had like formed a different bond than other people did. And I think it's because of the stuff that I had to go through to get there. So,
your your drill sergeants will make or break.
yeah.
They'll make the difference in the soldier you become
Mhm.
because the I think even at the beginning of the war, the lessons I had got from my drill sergeants were more important than
Yeah.
a lot of the things that we learned in pre-mob.
Mhm.
Now you get you get sent on your first wildfire.
Yeah. So, I got with the unit in April of let's see 2015. Yeah, April, May, somewhere in there of 2015. And then because I just got back from all my training because I went to Fort Lee. So I went from Leonard Wood to Lee and then got into the actual unit around that time. I don't have a job. I'm just like, okay, I'm here. And then I think it was maybe 2 months after I show up, they're like, yeah, we're deploying. I'm like, okay. I was only home for 5 months in between training and leaving for deployment.
When you got the deployment letter, that wow, I didn't realize it was that
It was
quick.
like that. I was only with the unit for like a month. And then so like all the people that were transferring in for the deployment, I was there with them all. So I was like the new person just like the rest of them. So that's kind of why I bonded with a lot of the people that were transplants, not the people that were already in the unit.
What's going through your mind? I mean, you come through basic training, AIT, you're already doing, you know, state emergencies.
Mhm.
And oh, by the way, you've been home for what 2 months, and then
Well, I
get
was told I was deploying before the state emergencies happened. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to get my stuff in order. I mean, I was excited because I was like, this is why I want to go active duty. I want to travel. Like, send me. I don't care. Like, so for me, I was excited to go and ready and like, all right, let's just keep traveling. And then the wildfire opportunities came up. I was like, perfect chance for me to make some money before I go. And but that was a really unique opportunity to go do that because I went to Lake Chelan. and the whole town was like burnt down. It was wild driving through that town. It was just like vacant.
I was gonna say, weren't you in specialist for Kia? You weren't you on the mission where you had to go through where the roads were burning on both sides with the fuel truck? Or am I thinking of a different mission? It seems like
So
it
I
seems.
wasn't with Rakia. I was with Godfrey.
Oh, you were with God.
Yeah, so him and I. Funnily enough, that was my first time driving the fuel truck. Is to Lake Chelan. So that was my road test. Was to Lake Chelan. Um, so that was pretty wild. Learning how to drive that truck for the first time and going across the state and over the pass and all the other
Wow.
stuff. So that was really wild. But I don't think the fire was still burning on both sides on our way there, but the fire did jump across the river and start continuing to burn. We weren't. I never actually like saw the fire itself, so that might just be Rakia.
That was when you finally you get done with the fires, and then we jump into pre-mob.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind?
I mean, for me, like I just got back from training, so all this stuff is still fresh. Like I feel like I got a one up on everybody because I still got all the information. But at the same time, it's like I also have no idea what's going on because half of the people that are here, this is like their second or third deployment, right? So, and then that's when like all the leadership problems start happening. Like when we get into Texas, like Texas is just where it all went to shit. I mean, it was kind of going that way beforehand because it's just like, all right, you're loading up on all these fuelers, right? You're pulling all these people in. Clearly, we got a mission over there. If you're pulling all these people from across the state, and then we're just like we start getting attached to California, and it, we spent quite a while in Texas too. So, like, I was looking through photos today after you like set up the interview of like there are so many photos of us fueling in Texas, but most of the time we're sitting there playing cards. Like I just have photo after photo where we're sitting at a table, some random table someone brought with camp chairs, playing cards, waiting to fuel.
You had probably some of the most toxic leadership situations to arise.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I ever talked to you, but I was originally tasked with building the teams to go to Afghanistan.
Okay.
Did not know that I wouldn't be uh, because of my position. I wasn't going to be allowed to go,
Mhm.
and but it was put on me to pick the soldiers, the teams.
Yeah.
Um, you were on my original first team. Um, Neither one of us ended up going to
Yeah,
Afghanistan.
that was a hard pill to swallow.
That was that was yeah, lost a lot of sleep in that process. Um, and it wasn't that the ones that I picked, I knew were the most qualified to
Mhm.
do the fuel mission in a combat zone.
Yeah.
Um, you ended up in a different position altogether, like a lot of us.
Mhm.
Uh, you ended up in more of a logistics.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was the supply clerk for the entire deployment.
Good, bad, indifferent.
I mean, it's I guess better than turning on and off light sets or driving a Scooby bus. So that was kind of that was some self-preservation on my part because once I found out we're not fueling, that's when I found Amu and was like, "Hey, do you need help? I'll happily come and help you. Can you pull me in here? Because I'm not going to be going around doing random stuff that no one wants to do. I'm just so that was kind of self-preservation on my part of like I'm not going to get screwed over in this again."
We ended up with a lot of interesting details because our leadership imploded and
Yeah.
made a bad name for themselves on post.
Yep.
Um, what was your worst day in theater?
I mean, I had a couple where like it just finally hit me so hard that um, just like missing family and being away from home. Um, and then like I hadn't ever really dealt with my dad's death either, so it just like it started really hitting me hard on the deployment. And like I think I came to you at one point and was like, "Hey, can you take me to behavioral health? Like I need help." Um, because I actually remember like you walking me to my first appointment, but um, there was one point where, Ayla, she left for Afghanistan, and then Christy got pregnant and left to go home, and now I'm stuck in a room all like with someone that I don't like because they were my two roommates. So now I'm stuck in a room with someone I don't like, and like now I'm all by myself. So that was like super hard because then I started feeling isolated. So that was kind of a hard, and that was like, okay, I'm done. I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. Um, that at that point, that's when I got started getting like really close with Rommel. So her and I got close at that point because like I literally had no one. Everyone left. So that was probably like my hardest point in that deployment.
What was your best day? When you look back and you can say this this was a good experience, or this was okay. This is why I was here.
I got to jump out of a helicopter into the Persian Gulf, I think. That was like probably the highlight of my deployment.
I
That
was I
I got
was
to jump out of the back of a moving helicopter into the water and then swim to a boat.
I was very jealous of that. I'm just being honest. I was
Yeah,
very jealous of that. That
yeah.
was I've got to ride on the back of them, but I never got to jump out of one.
I
So
think that was kind of like their way of because I found out that I was supposed to go on the Afghanistan mission, and then I got pulled. And so there was other stuff going on too, but I think that was kind of like their way of like, hey, sorry you didn't get to go do this, but here you go.
I always hope none of them hold it against me for that was that's one of those things even back then that always concerned me, that I was asking you all to put your life on the line, and then I wasn't going to be able to be there
Yeah,
uh, for part of it,
yeah.
to share in that load and that burden.
Mhm.
Now, normally I always ask our soldiers, where were you at 9/11? Because most of us were in our units, were already,
Yeah,
um, at the beginning of the war. I was with Vietnam veterans and
yeah.
Persian Gulf veteran, Desert Storm.
Mhm.
Um, you, on the other hand, not
Yeah.
only were you not in the military on 9/11, how old were you? What grade were you in?
I'm pretty sure I was in kindergarten. So I'm not gonna lie, I do not remember because I was just so young. Like, and I was also in Minnesota at the time in a not, or more of like a like low income type of schooling. So it's not like there was like a TV that they could put it on like they do now. So like, but at the same time, like, who remembers kindergarten? You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
I just it was my journey through the guard. I shared a little bit with you, was
Mhm.
leaving with those guys from the Vietnam era,
Yeah.
but finishing with soldiers that were younger than my own kids,
Mhm.
and going from a lot of change. The army did a lot of changes in that 20-year period,
Yeah.
and I I will tell you, on the first deployment, uh, I'll say it straight up. I was glad that we didn't have females. The mission that we thought we were going to have ended up not being the mission.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know you and some of your battle sisters were, you outworked the boys. And that was
Yeah.
one of the reasons that I was committed to you being on some of the teams was you did circles around a lot of those fellas.
Mhm.
A lot of young men out there should be ashamed at their work ethic because y'all put them to shame just working hard.
Yeah.
How
I
did
mean, if because as a like female in the military, if you want to make it and you want to impress, some like you're working in a male dominated field, so it sucks to say it, but if you want to impress and actually get the respect of your peers, which are men, you have to work harder than them. It's just that's what I learned, and that's how I survived so well in the military, is because I would show up most of the men, and then immediately I got their respect, and then they also had my back though. Like I I can't tell you how many different people I had throughout our entire company that just like they had my back regardless of what was going on. So I always had people watching out for me.
that's the way it should be. That's just gonna be honest. Um, we get home. What was that process like for you?
Man, I remember we were in Texas for so long on the way home. We were in Texas for a while, like doing the whole demo process, and maybe it just felt like a long time because we all just want to go home. But I remember that they tell me like, okay, we have a ticket for you. We're gonna get you out of here, right? They dropped me off at the airport, and well, with whatever group is already going, so I'm already there like 12 hours early, sitting at the airport waiting for my flight. Guess what? It gets canceled.
Oh,
And I am at that airport until the next day when the next flight can go out. And guess what? It's the same one that everyone I just left at the unit is now going to get on. So instead
wow.
of like, oh, we're getting you home a day early, no, I just got to sit at the airport for an extra day.
Was it at Kylene?
I think so. And then it was just, for me, it was a saga to get home because they lost all my bags. So, and I'm traveling in uniform, doing what they told me to do. I did not pack myself a spare change of clothes because this is my first time doing this, and I didn't think to pack a spare change of clothes. Um, yeah, so they lose all my luggage. All I have is my backpack, and I have a friend coming to pick me up because my mom thinks I'm coming home in 2 weeks. So like, there's a dinner that night that she is attending, but doesn't know I will be showing up at. And so I actually had to get my friend to have to take me to the mall to go get clothes because I had nothing. And I was like, I don't really want to wear this uniform anymore. So it was quite a saga to get home. They did actually drop all my bags off at my mom's house though. Once they
Oh,
found them, which was a week and a half later.
wow.
So yeah, it was pretty wild.
Did you have time off when you came home? Did you get to adjust?
Yeah, so I let me see. I think I had a couple months off because I had been saving. I was just saving my money while I was over there. I took advantage of their car program that they had, and so I actually had a new car here waiting for me. Um, like ordered a Dodge Dart, and so
I
they had a program over there where I think I put $500 a month for about. I think I started pretty early, so about 8 months. I was putting $500 a month, and that was my down payment on my car. And so I actually built my car like through the factory and got everything I wanted in it. And then it was sitting and waiting at a dealership for me when I got home.
for those that don't know, these are some of the programs they have on deployments that smarter soldiers will use. Although a lot of soldiers got in trouble for getting Harley Davidsons while they were there, and their wives not knowing about it until they got home. But it was
Yeah.
be smart with that deployment money. Is the only if you're young and you don't have a house or making
Take
certain
advantage
payments.
of that retirement that program they have over there. That's what I did too. All my money is going in tax free and it'll come out tax free.
You
So
did the
like,
Roth IRAs and
uh-huh,
the
that one's loaded right now.
right on, right on.
Just from the deployment, because when I was back in country, I was using traditional. So
That's
just that Roth is from my deployment.
the piece I cannot stress enough to the young ones because the the old system was a little broken because
Hmm.
you could serve 18, 19 years and get out and not have anything.
Yeah.
Um, Soldiers need to be investing in themselves. It's if they would invest day one at 17 or
Yep.
18 when they come in, by the time they come out to the other side, they're going to have a decent retirement.
And I only had 8 years, and I still have a pretty decent chunk of change because day one, I was putting in 5% and they match 5%.
Wow.
So I'm getting 10% a month or per paycheck.
The blended retirement system, is that the one
Yeah,
that
so I have like a couple different ones because, I did the tech job for a while. And so I kind of had that dual retirement I was going for.
I was going to ask about that. How did you end up at USPFO?
So Chief Lane is the one who like gave me a push to go do that because while I was deployed, um, I was applying for AGR jobs, like trying to do active guard reserve. I had applied for a couple and didn't get them. And then finally, Chief Lane was like, "Why don't you do technician?" Because I didn't know anything about technician. I was just applying because I needed a full time job when I got back home. So I'm like trying to get that figured out. But I also started school while I was on deployment.
Wow.
So I started going to college for my bachelor's degree when I was deployed, and was doing online classes the entire time. I'd probably say about 5 months in is when I started going to school. When I realized we're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything. Like we're just sitting here in case something happens. That was for me. I think like halfway through the deployment, once I realized like I'm not going to Afghanistan, I'm not leaving Kuwait. Nothing happens here. I don't even have a gun. Like I might as well do something with my time here instead of just sitting here
I met a lot of
waiting for the sand to blow around.
I was impressed with, and I always say the young soldiers because it wasn't a lot of us older ones doing it. But watching you all take those online classes,
Hmm.
doing the college work,
Yeah,
um,
and I have no
what an
student loan
amazing
debt,
no right on.
not a single penny.
That's
They paid me to go to school,
thanks to the army. I got thank you army for my free bachelor's. I do appreciate that.
and I still
Um,
have half of my GI Bill
Outstanding.
because I fixed it so that way I was using the guards' money that they give you.
The tuition assistance.
And all the stuff that goes along with that. They pay for your books. Well, my school had a free online library, so they were literally giving me money for books that I didn't have to pay for. So I was literally getting paid to go to school, and I barely touched my GI Bill.
See, this is the good stuff that like so many soldiers do not use, do not tap
Mm-hmm.
into. We
And you can
the
only use it when you're in.
You can only use it when you're in.
Because now that I'm out, I only have access to the GI Bill. So, like, if I want to go back to school, it'll cover like me getting another bachelor's. So if I want to like completely go do something different, my GI Bill will pay the rest of it.
that is that is good to know.
So
Yeah.
I tried to like really pay attention to what I was doing and like I listened to the people that were older than me giving me that advice, like doing the retirement program that they had overseas. I had people telling me to do that, so I was like, "Hey, this is literally what people are wishing that they would have done. Why not do it?"
I had trouble convincing soldiers to even do the SGLI or
Oh yeah,
the TRICARE benefits.
yeah.
I for me personally,
Mhm.
TRICARE, my guard check, I could use for TRICARE
Yeah.
on the weekend drill would pay for my family of 5 kids
Mhm.
to be able to go to the doctor, and to
Yeah.
get what they needed, and very minimal copays like on medications.
Yeah.
And there were so many soldiers I could never convince of that. It was like, no, I want that extra $20 or $24 or
Yeah.
the 100 for the.
Mhm.
Nowadays, I wonder how many of them think, wow, I really messed up. That was a really
Especially if
good
they didn't have
insurance.
insurance already.
Yeah.
Because me, I was still on my mom's insurance, so I was like, I don't need to. Because you can be on your parents' insurance until you're 26,
That's right.
and so I milked
That's
that.
right. Now you you get tagged by the med board.
Yeah. So here I ended up at USPFO because of Chief Lane, right? So I applied. I didn't start until like November, I think, is when I first started there, and I ended up at the SSA side of things, and that was again some kind of toxic leadership that I was in. So I moved over to CIF, and that was Mr. Neal was like the best boss I've ever had in my life. Like just a stand-up guy. Um, really cares about his people. I did not want to leave. And so, like, I had this plan, right? Like, I joined when I was 17. I got that retirement started. I was at the USPFO when I was 20. Or
Wow.
no, I
Wow.
was, no, I was 19. Because no, I was 20. Because I turned 20 on the deployment.
I knew obviously I knew you were young, but I had no idea, man.
Yeah.
My memory is just.
So when everyone's like complaining that they can't drink on the deployment, I was like, I can't drink anyways, so what does it matter? Well, I legally can't drink anyways, but um, yeah. So I was like, okay, I started at this job that I can get dual retirement. Like I was like, I haven't made. I can retire when I'm 40 with 2 retirements. Like I made smart choices, and like there's opportunity for growth for me there. So I really didn't want to leave. But that position, you have to be a member of the National Guard to be in. And so when I get told, because the deployment, I started having hip problems on the deployment, got it documented, and it's not till I get back that how they once a year they do medical checks on the whole unit. Well, I randomly got this doctor in aviation um, do a check with me, and I'm just like, well, I got problems with my hips, but no one can seem to figure it out, so I'm just say I'm fine. Like, you're not going to be able to fix it. And then he's like, well, hold on, like, explain it to me. And I started explaining to him. He's like, no, I know exactly what's going on with you. Like, let's get you tested. I work at Madigan. Like, why don't you come and do some follow up appointments with me? And so before this point, I had seen 5 other doctors who I had one doctor try telling me it's because I clench my teeth when I sleep. It's giving me hip
What?
pain. One doctor's trying to tell me it's because I don't go to the bathroom frequently. And like, just all these weird things. People are doing scans, all this stuff. Oh, nothing's wrong with you. And I'm like, okay, I'm at the point where I'm ready to give up. I shouldn't be 20 years old with bilateral hip pain. There's literally no reason for it. I should not be feeling like I'm like 60 years old getting up when I'm 20. And so finally that doctor like actually listened to what I was saying, because I'm pretty sure the rest of them just thought I was making it up to get medication. And then that's what started the really long process of I had hip surgery when I was 21, and then I had my second hip surgery when I was 22. So, I mean, hitting 22, like already had 2 hip surgeries. Or no, my first one was when I was 20. So, because I bought this house when I was 21.
Did they replace the hip, or did they what?
Um, So basically, you have your hip joint and then your femur. What's happening is it's basically bone spurs on my femur. So it kind of goes out, and now it's scraping on the inside of your hip joint. And eventually it caused a tear in the labrum inside. So, like the cartilage that's in there on my right hip. So they had to go in, shave off bone, try to repair the cartilage, and then my hip flexors were also so tight they actually cut into them to allow them to stretch more. Um, and then they did the same thing on my left hip.
At the same time, or did they
A year apart.
Year apart?
Yeah. Okay. So, and it helped in the sense of I don't have dull pain every day anymore, but now I get sharp pain more frequently. Like I still can't run. I mean, I'm like 7 years past the first surgery and I still can't run.
Running's overrated.
But I enjoyed it before. So like okay. I can't snowboard anymore. I like
oh no.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that like I can't do anymore from it. So I'm like, okay, just trying to like accept, that there's all these things I can't really do anymore, and that like physical therapy is going to be a daily thing for the rest of my life. And I mean, I did every single thing that they suggested, because now I actually have nerve damage on my thigh from the surgery. On my right thigh, I have like permanent nerve damage because they clipped a nerve when they went in. Because your thigh and that hip area, there's so many nerves running through there.
Does it feel like the top of your leg's asleep?
Or... Yeah, but there's certain times where it can be so sensitive that I can hit it on a corner and I'll be in excruciating pain. So it's like it teeters, but there's usually not a happy medium. It's I can't feel it at all, or any little thing is going to make it hurt so bad. So now leading up to the point where basically I'm going to have to get medically boarded, and I actually like requested that they look at everything again. The Army only gave me 20%. That's it. That's all I got from the Army. They gave me severance and said, have a nice day. Because they wanted to say my back and my knee pain is not connected to my hip pain. Because through the VA, I have 50%. Because they didn't want to pay me medical retirement for the rest of my life.
Wow.
So that's one thing that like I should have went and got my own lawyer instead of using the one that they provided to me. But being like with how young I am, like
the thing that...
I don't know all these things, and so I like the Army royally screwed me on the way out, because I'm still like actually currently right now I'm in the process of trying to get reevaluated with the VA once again so they can actually give me a proper rating. I literally can't run. I can't join the military. And so how are you telling me I don't have 100%? I can't be a police officer. I can't be a firefighter. I can't go do all these things because I cannot pass a physical fitness test.
The common theme that's been occurring on these episodes, everybody is saying the same thing. Make sure that you go in and get those exams and evaluations, especially before you get out, because it's easier to get some things taken care of while you're still in.
Yeah.
But once you're out, that door is closed.
But
it's like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's
I mean, even for me, I had the doctor that helped me from the get-go, he wrote a note to the med board saying that my back and knee pain is a direct relation and a direct cause from my hip pain, and they still said it's not related.
I'm not a legal expert on any stretch, but you might want to talk to your representative on that one, because
it's too late now. I mean, I got it done,
I've seen people with Agent Orange from the Korean War get their uh, their assessments done after
Yeah, with
being
the
out for 50 years.
VA, not with the Army.
Oh, okay. I see what
So
you're
big
saying. I see
Army
what you're saying.
paid me 20%. So they gave me severance. Said have a nice day.
Hmm.
Now it's with the VA. I'm trying to get. I'm at 50 with the VA. I'm trying to get that up to 100. So I'm actually paying a company right now to get to go through that. So
It's a wild process
it
to
is.
it's
I know because Caitlin Nagy. So her and I are actually pretty close. She's going through the same process now, and she never claimed anything. She's got 0%. So
oh wow.
yeah.
And
So
she had injuries on
oh
deployment.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So
that's so soldiers quit. I don't. I'm not telling you be sick, call
because they
Rangers,
forced her out.
but don't. If you get an injury, document it because nobody cares once you're out. You have to be your biggest advocate. Um,
Yeah, because
with
on
that.
deployment, I went to sick call, and you want to know what they told me? Here's some ibuprofen and
And
stay off your hips for 2 weeks. I said, so if I'm supposed to stay off my hips for 2 weeks, how am I supposed to get around?
strange. It's like when you get put in a walking boot, but everything is a half mile from where you're supposed to be at for work. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, I ride a bike to work every day. Like, I can't stay off my hips.
yeah.
So,
Now a little bit. It's already a painful process, but we are also at that point where you and I lost a lot of friends, fellow soldiers
yeah.
when we came home.
Hmm.
I, I still fight a lot of those ghosts.
Hmm.
Um, how do you how do you deal with it? Because I know I'll just say it from the girl perspective. You were closer to some of them than I was.
Yeah.
But you a lot of you I will say it were like my kids in my
Hmm.
own way. I will say that it was hard.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I think I have a bit of a different, unique perspective because I experienced loss. Like the first time I lost someone was when I was 9, when my grandpa died. Because I was actually really close with my grandpa. Um, and then 17, I lose my dad. And then so basic training, they let us go home for 2 weeks because it was during Christmas. They actually let us go home during Christmas. Um, one of the people in my company didn't make it home. He got in a car accident and died. Um, fast forward to deployment, uh, we get home and then, oh, before deployment, we lost Cooper. So I just have this frequent cycle for me of like I am constantly experiencing death in one form or another, whether I'm like directly close with them or not. Um, so for me, I've kind of accepted that's part of my life and my journey. So I have had to kind of like learn how to deal with grief a lot more frequently than other people. Um, because then, yeah, we get home. So before deployment, we lose someone in the company, and then we get home from deployment and we lose two within like, I think it was only a couple months of each other because it was Christy and Val.
they were, I think, within 48 hours.
Oh, was it? Okay,
Yeah,
so it was, I remember it being really close. I just can't remember how close because, yeah, Christy's hit me hard because I knew she was having a hard time and I was trying to get her help, but kind of goes back to what me and you were talking about the other day. Everyone's got to hit their own rock bottom and they have to want to help themselves. So it kept kind of being that where I was helping, I was trying to help her, trying to get her to do the things she needed to do to get out of the situation she was unhappy in. but every time it wouldn't come to fruition. I mean, I was sending her money, I was sending her stuff that she needed for her and the baby. Like, it got to a point where like my well was like dry, and so that was like really hard for me when that hit, because I was like, I feel like because I kind of stopped answering a lot of her calls, because she'd call me multiple times a day, and it got to the point where I was like, Christy, if you're not going to help yourself, like, I can't help you. And so that happened like right before she passed. So that was like a really hard thing for me to deal with. Because it was like I felt like I finally put my foot down with her, and then she passed like a couple weeks after that. And so that was something I had to like stop blaming myself for. Because from my understanding, it was accidental for Christy. It wasn't purposeful that she did it. She, from my understanding, she took muscle relaxers and then took a bath, and she drowned. So, um,
I think the hardest thing, and yeah, I have to tell it to myself too, but I had to tell it to a lot of soldiers because there was no lack of trying to help the soldier. This is one of those things where we want to blame somebody, um, but in every case, the 4 or 5 that we lost in that deployment in particular, um, everybody tried on multiple levels to
mm-hmm.
help, and nothing helped. And it wasn't from lack of trying on their behalf, but
Yeah,
it still doesn't take that pain away that it happened.
yeah,
And I think that's the hard thing, to move on and not forget them. That's I think that's the hard thing, is that you know you can't just, oh, you just need to suck it up and drive on. And it's like, it's not that easy.
no, well, and that's
It's
something that I've learned. So, with all the grief that I've had, something that all the things that I've learned, if going to the funeral is gonna drudge up old stuff for you, then don't go. Because I personally don't go to funerals anymore, especially for military. I went to Christie's and Val's, and those are the last military funerals I go to, because for me it drudges up my dad. So not only am I grieving the people that are recently lost, I start grieving everything. And so for me, to protect myself and my own mental health, I don't go to funerals like that anymore. Um, and you're gonna have people who don't agree with you. But guess what? At the end of the day, they're not the ones making sure your mental health is okay. Um, and actually, like, feel your feelings, because the longer you wait, because for me, I waited till my deployment to finally process my dad's death, and that's 2 years later. So I kept myself so busy that there's no possible way I could even think about my dad's death. And learning from that, I like, feel your feelings, be with your emotions, and process them. And if you can't process them by yourself, find someone to help you. So that's been like a big thing for me, is like, being you should be so self-aware of your own emotions that if you cannot, like, physically and mentally get through them, find someone else to help you get through them.
how did you climb out of of that hole?
So, because for me, I turned to drinking a lot. Drinking was like, I mean, I swear the army taught me how to drink. So let's just start there. Like, the army, they don't let you smoke weed. They don't let you do drugs. The only two things they let you do is drink and smoke cigarettes or nicotine, right? So what's the only thing we can do? Smoke cigarettes or drink? Um, and I think the army literally teaches us to use that as a coping mechanism rather than actually processing the crap we're dealing with. And it wasn't until, I mean, I was constantly like, if I didn't want to think about it, I'll just go drink. Um, yeah, and this month will be a year of me not drinking and no nicotine. So, uh, this year's been pretty tough because everything that I didn't feel like dealing with for the past, I don't know, 10 years basically is how long I've been drinking for. Because I started drinking right after my dad died when I was 17. So, yeah, 10, 12 years of drinking. I just drink to cope, smoke to cope. Yeah, finally had to process and deal with all of that this year. And I mean, I had a lot of help doing it. I couldn't do it on my own.
Mm.
But
We're your battle buddies are sometimes they help us in the wrong way, but
yeah, I mean, and they do. So, but again, it goes back to me saying like feel your feelings and process them when they're happening. And because dealing with them 12 years later all at once is not fun. It hurts and it's ugly and but I'm a better person for it. My relationships are better with the people in my life. Because when I drank, I would just cause chaos.
mm.
I mean, I almost fell into a fire one night, broke my brand new glasses. Like, I'm like the picture of chaos when I drink.
See, I didn't have that. My problem was I always ended up having another kid. So I had to quit. Needed to quit for other reasons. It's
Yeah.
no. Well, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
So now we're getting. Was it worth it? Was it worth joining? Would you do it again?
Absolutely.
What do you recommend to the folks that are thinking about the military? What would you tell them to
Uh,
do or not do?
go Air Force. You get paid better, you get better food, and you get better lodging. I mean, our lodging in Kuwait was literally subsidized living for the Air Force when we thought it was awesome because we weren't in a tent.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so that kind of stuff, I'm like, ugh, I wish I would have went like Air Guard or active air. But at the same time, like, they also get made fun of the most. So if you can't handle being made fun of, probably go Marines or Army. But I would just say, like,
But they're getting made fun of in air conditioning while they're on internet. So
and
I
eating
mean,
well.
it's probably why they can handle it. It's
Yeah, they probably have never had MRE in their lives. So that, I mean, because I've had a lot of, like, Caleb has a really large family, right? So like a lot of his younger cousins, like the aunts reach out to me and like, hey, could you talk to so and so about the military? They're thinking about going, and every time I always say that like I would never change the path that I did because it's best suited for me. I do wish that I could have stuck to my original plan and not had my hips cause problems because I wanted to get that dual retirement. I could have retired at 45 with dual retirement and started a whole nother career and gotten a whole nother retirement. That was my plan. My plan was to like set myself up so well for retirement I could do whatever I wanted. And yeah, my hips just fucked all that up. But I mean, the Army National Guard just has so many benefits, and so many more benefits than like the reserves or active does. Because, like I said, I still have half my GI Bill, and I have a bachelor's degree with no student loan debt. Like, I have a VA loan that I used on my house. I bought a house at 21 years old. Like, the Army has set me up with a lot of things in my life, and like I've made a lot of friends. Like, I still have friends from AIT.
all right
They
on.
were at my wedding last year.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
But like, or Caitlin, she was literally my day of coordinator for my wedding. I was in her wedding. I was at the hospital when she had her baby. Like, I have all these friends in my life that have stuck around from different points in my military career that like
Even us old ones.
yeah,
Even us old ones.
yeah. Because I mean, I chat with you every once in a while. I mean, I haven't really talked to a lot of people recently, besides the ones that like I see on a frequent basis. But
I think I think it's amazing seeing how many of you all are you're going clean and sober.
mm-hmm.
You're moving. Unfortunately for me, y'all are moving out of the state.
Yeah,
You know, we're kind of at the end of the tour here, so we can what's next on your agenda, because your
yeah,
house is up for sale
yeah,
and everything's gone. What the heck?
yeah. I know. My last day of work was yesterday. Uh, I mean, so I can kind of caveat on that. While I was deployed, I was going to school for a bachelor's in criminal justice, with hopes to go get a job as a crime scene investigator. I actually just resigned my position as crime scene investigator with Tacoma Police Department. I was there for 3.5 years doing that. So that
Wow.
like my goals that I set myself up for on my deployment came to fruition. And I mean, sadly, I'm moving to Idaho, which is a state with like no crime, so I don't have a
Jeez.
job. But it's better for like the future for the family that my husband and I are trying to build. So I'm making a sacrifice there and kind of going into dispatching. So I'll still be in law enforcement
Right
because
on.
I did try going to a couple different warehousing jobs after I got out of the military, and being around civilians is hard. Oh my gosh, they're so dumb. Like, so that was it was
it's
really hard for me. So that's when I was like, okay, I gotta go to law enforcement. Like, I can't do this. It was just too hard of a transition for me. Like, not enough structure. It just felt like chaos every day going to work. So when I finally got the job with the law enforcement, I was like, ah, they're still idiots, but not as bad. But I mean, I made some great friends there too, and like, but I figured out for myself that I need to stay in like a law enforcement type agency just because it fits like so well for me. I'm very structured, so the military worked well for me. Like, I'm very organized, structured, so it flows with me.
outstanding.
So yeah, I'll be doing 911 dispatching now over
Well,
in Idaho.
that's I have friends on here who are also dispatchers,
Okay,
so it's I don't have to say it, but I am proud of you.
thanks.
Um, and I've shared with it before. If I could adopted another daughter, you would have been it. And I I appreciate your service to our country, your hard work ethic. Um, I you are an example of what a soldier should be. You know, in and out of uniform, and I wish you the best. I hope you have a dozen little ones when you guys get settled to where you're going.
Yeah.
And if you ever need an adoptive grandpa, I will be there.
Yeah.
So Idaho
Oh, thank
Idaho is
you.
not that far to go,
Six and a
and
half hours.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Happy trails on the journey.
Thank you. Yeah, we're
We,
super excited.
I wish you and Caleb the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
like I said, I'm sure a lot of folks are gonna be like, it's about time. You never, it's, but
I'm honored to be like your first female guest though. So,
yeah, it wasn't, it
I
was,
mean, you've been
yeah.
like an adopted dad to me though. Like
Oh,
ever since the deployment, like you've always made sure I'm taken care of. Like you were always looking out for me even when I wasn't in your section anymore. Like so, I mean, and I you have consistently checked in on me even since I've been out. And I've been out since 2021.
I mean, that,
So,
man, it's been like fast forward. I always tell people it's like since that retirement date, it's been
Our
fast
deployment was
forward.
10 years ago.
Gee, Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Isn't that crazy?
That's, yeah.
Caitlin pointed that out to me, and I was like, no, no, don't even say it.
I still have
There's no
trouble.
way.
I still have trouble with this leg from that deployment. Well, it was from before that deployment, but
Yeah.
it's the new hip has been helping a lot.
Good.
So
That's awesome.
man, I'm gonna miss you, kid.
I'll still be around.
Yes. You any folks staying in this area, or you or they?
Yeah, all my family's here, so we'll still be back over here frequently.
You
all Caleb's family's here too.
you guys will start that. You guys will probably start that migration where
I
the
think
family
so.
all moves out to.
That's what I'm hoping.